So I know you want to know WTF. What happened? Why didn't the Democrats do as well as the polls and the psychics, including myself, thought we were going to do? And I'm a little surprised and shaken up by it as well. And so I wanted to come on to tell you a few things. First of all, they still tell me that Biden is going to win. As a matter of fact, I pulled 3 cards just because when I'm emotional about something, I can't get a good reading on it, right? That's why we don't win the lottery. That's why psychics aren't winning lotteries, is because our emotional mind, our thinking mind gets involved in the process and we pick the wrong numbers, you know? That's one reason. There's also a lot of belief about the fact that you have to be very careful with energy. When you use energy for financial gain and only financial gain, it can kind of go astray. The energy can come back on you in a not so good way. It basically karma, if you will. So those are 2 reasons why. But it's one of the reasons why that I needed to pull cards this morning, because my brain is as scrambled as your brain is. And I feel like I can't really see what I need to see. So the first card that I pulled was the 7 of Wands, which, as you can tell, is basically a defensive card. I'm not a professional tarot card reader. I'm a professional psychic and a medium. However, anybody can figure out that this is a defensive card. This makes sense, right? Defending what we have and also trying to defend our successes that we're working on right now, defending the vote, defending the right to vote. This, to me, that's what this says. We have had a lot of blocks against voting, just a lot of intimidation. And so, you know, that really plays a role in people actually getting to the polls. But the next card pretty much says it all, in my opinion, and that is the 9 of Cups. So if you can see, this guy is sitting happy. He has got everything he needs. They call this the wish card because your wishes are granted. This is the lottery card right here. So yes, this is Biden. He's going to win. It's all going to pay off, right? The fight is going to pay off in the wish card. Okay, so we have to fight. That's where we are now. We're fighting, you know, we're counting and we're protecting and we're fighting. And then it goes to the wish card, which is fantastic. And I think something that somebody pointed out is really interesting on this card, which, as I said, is the wish card. But if you notice, he is sitting on a wooden bench. And they say that means don't get comfortable. That means, you know, yes, you have your wishes, but be grateful and don't get comfortable. You're not going to get comfortable because it's a wooden bench. So that means he's got a lot of work to do. He has a lot of work going forward to bring this country together, right? He did win his wish, but don't get comfortable. And then the next card is just, this whole thing is giving me chills, is, you know, basically it's the 3 of Wands. It's basically surveying his kingdom, but also looking, if you can see, he is looking, maybe it'll focus, there you go. He is looking at new lands, at new things to conquer, at new places to go. Not only is he confident, but he's facing towards the future, which I think is amazing. So these 3 cards, I think, reassure me, even though my guides told me that yes, he was going to win. I feel like these 3 cards help me feel better about the situation, because I feel like even though most of my predictions, you know, were correct, I still expected some things to come out differently. So let's talk about why that happened. I think this is really important, and it's a nudge that I'm getting from them about this situation, which is Um, our country is divided, and it's very divided. I'm not going to say it's never been this divided. I think it has, probably in the 60s, but it's very divided. And what they're telling me is karmically, energetically, and karmically, look, we're all here to learn a lesson. All of us, we're here to learn a lesson. And you were born at this time. You chose to come here. I chose to come here at this time to experience this, to be a part of this, to add my own energy to it and have it be my own lesson within the bigger lesson. Okay. We all have our own individual lessons within this bigger lesson. The bigger lesson is that, honestly, COVID-19, coronavirus, it couldn't be more simplistic or more beautiful in the way that the lesson is designed, if you ask me. The whole lesson is to show us all that we're all one, that love is the answer, and that we have to find a way, despite our differences. I'm a Democrat, I'm wearing blue, but despite our differences, we have to find a way to meet in the middle and work through this. Basically, one side is not going to be able to be successful on its own. It takes both sides. It takes, the back and the forth and the working things out. But the beauty of how this lesson was designed for us, in my opinion, is that you wear a mask to protect the other person. It's not for you. You don't wear a mask for you. You wear a mask because you may be carrying the virus. You may be contagious and not know it. And so therefore you wear a mask to protect other people. That's exactly the lesson they're trying to teach us, you guys. That's the lesson. That's it in a nutshell. If we would all wear a mask, we would all protect each other, and therefore we could move through this lesson much quicker and obviously with much less deaths. Okay, now obviously masks are not a panacea. It's not going to fix everything, but we know, we have the studies to prove it. Don't hate on me. If you're going to hate on me, then I'm going to delete your comment because it's my channel. And I believe this. I believe in science and I believe in data. So think about it energetically. Think about it from our guides, God, whoever it is that you pray to, that is the higher source in your world, in your life. They gave us this pandemic, and then they gave us the solution to moving through the pandemic with less death and less, frankly, less shutdown of our government, less shutdown of our businesses, because if we wear masks, we can go back to school. If we wear masks, we can go to the grocery stores. If we wear masks, we can go to movie theaters. I mean, basically, we could be much closer back to normal. No, I don't like wearing masks. I hate wearing masks. I'm not a health professional. I've never learned how to wear a mask. I don't like it. It makes my nose itch, drives me crazy. I'm from South Texas. It's hotter than Dante's Inferno down here with a mask on, okay? I don't like it. But if it's going to save people's lives, number one, and number two, allow me to go back to normal, to some degree of normal, you better believe I'm going to wear a mask. So isn't it interesting that they have given us the solution to the problem? The definition of the solution to the problem is that I'm helping you. It's just magical, in my opinion. It's absolutely magical. So I'm going to stop talking about that for a second, because the bigger thing is this. The bigger thing is this, is that this whole pandemic is a big lesson for us. It's sort of a trigger for other lessons. The pandemic triggered these other lessons of accepting and loving our neighbor, but then that also becomes a trigger for race relations, right? So we've had all these other triggers that have been triggered by this one thing. And so our lesson here is that if we can learn how to accept each other and honor each other, even if we disagree, honor each other, then we can move forward. If we don't accept that, if we don't learn that lesson, then we have to learn it in a different way. And I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but I have had it happen many times in readings where if someone doesn't do, how about me? If I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then they kind of screw together the tension on me until I do it. Right. So if you're supposed to leave a job, the first thing they do is they make you uncomfortable. They make work like a drudgery. Oh, I hate going to this work. It's terrible. And then that doesn't work because you're like, I need the job and I'm just being a sissy and I'm going to tough it out. Right. Good old, pull yourself up. Do it right. Then what happens is they give you a terrible boss, a new boss, terrible boss, just absolutely beyond the worst. Now you start getting migraines, you start putting on weight, you start having tension-related health problems. Then the new boss likes your worst enemy, and and they form a whole little group of people that do things to set you up to look bad. Right? Nothing you did, but they work within themselves to set you up to look bad because you're a goody two-shoes and you do things the right way and they don't like you and they want you out. And so they're going to keep, do you see where they just raise the pressure on you, until finally either this is the guides. I'm sorry, but A, you get so sick that you lose your job because your health is so bad. B, maybe you get so sick that you actually die, or C, you get so sick of it that you leave the job and go somewhere else. They're lessons. They're hard. I know they're hard. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. I've seen it. But as a collective group of humans in the United States of America, our lesson is to revisit the race relations, revisit the whole idea that we're all one. And because we're not revisiting these things, because we sort of put them on the back burner, because when we had 8 years of President Obama, apparently racist went underground, and burrowed underground and hid. But now they feel like they can come out, like they can really come out and say what they want to say and actually have power and flex their muscles. And so guess what? That's uncovered that we didn't deal with those problems. So now it's going to be pressure cooker time. We're in a pressure cooker. We got to deal with these things one way or another. We've got to deal with them. We got to address them. Now, how do we deal with them? This is the $1 million question. And I ask them all the time. From a human standpoint, how am I supposed to break through to somebody who, when they accept their winning speeches, cry more, libs? That's what this young guy said when he won. He cried more, libs. That's just like, I often say, it's like kindergartners would get time out for some of these behaviors. You know what I mean? But yet here they are, adults doing it. And how do I deal with that? How do you deal with somebody that's so immature that you can't get through to them, right? You can't get through to them. And that's the problem. They're not going to give us the answer other than, well, here's an answer, wear a mask for the pandemic. But I think the answer for this other bigger problem where I feel like we're divided as a country is, well, I got to tell you, this is the problem. This is the whole reason that I did this video, because this is not nice, and I don't even like saying it, but this is what I see. So it's a problem for me to have to go there. But you remember I just talked about breaking people, like the poor guy that has that job and he just hates it, and instead it gets worse it just gets worse until the man actually has health problems or leaves the job, right? It's not going to get any better because he's in the wrong job. He's supposed to move. He's supposed to go to a new job. He's supposed to do something different. That's his life path. And because he's on the wrong path, they're going to make his life a living hell until he gets off that path and goes on the right path. I think we've all lived this. We just don't recognize it or realize it. So here's how this is going to go down. Okay, if you're not sitting down, sit down. If Biden loses, okay, if Biden loses, it would cause this subset of people in the United States, be they only 30% of our population, it would cause them to really experience their own, they would take their own medicine. They would take their own medicine because COVID would explode. I mean, it's already going to explode, but it would explode to a degree that, I mean, I think we would become a failed state. I think we would have so many dead and so many in hospitals. And I honestly see the guide showing me others like Canada having to come in and help us, help stabilize, like the UN having to come in and stabilize us, because it would be, think about that, y'all. You would have food shortages. People aren't working. You can't, the grocery store's not open because the grocers are sick. Those stock people are sick. The cashiers are sick. The bankers are sick. Everybody's sick. You all of a sudden you can't get food. All of a sudden you can't get the normal things, prescriptions, the pharmacy, they're sick. Your doctors are sick. Everybody's sick. Okay. A failed state, a complete and total failed state. And at that point, those people would be broken. You might call it hitting bottom. They would hit bottom because they would realize, my God, I need help. I need help. And then you want to know what else? They would be grateful for that help. They would actually be thankful and grateful for that help. And because they were broken, they would actually be able to see the truth. You know, the fact that they've been lied to about this pandemic, the fact that they've been lied to about, you know, their person, about how they treat people. You know, they've been lied to about the fact that these people are your enemies. These people are crybabies. These people are too sensitive. These people want to protect the earth, but the earth is fine. You know, I mean, once they are broken, then we can all get together and forgive and forget and literally put our arms around each other and be Americans again. Very much like the way, sadly, a war would do, or 9/11 did. All of a sudden, everybody put their D's and R's aside, and they all got together, and they all joined every armed force that we have. Or, you know, whatever it was that you did, you felt more connected to each other as humans and as Americans. It broke down all the borders. So what they show me is that if Biden didn't win, this process would happen much quicker. It would be more painful. We would lose a lot of people. We would, our country would fall apart in a way that it's never fallen apart before. But because that's not going to happen, because the tarot cards I just showed you, and because my guides tell me that Biden is going to win, it's almost like they're giving us another chance, you know, like here's another chance to get this right on your own before you have to really hit bottom. You know, maybe they're not ready to hit bottom yet. Maybe we'll give them another chance to get this right. But this is why this is important. At the same time, we're not getting a slam dunk here, right? We're not getting the Senate. I swear, I'm still holding out that maybe we'll get the Senate tie or with a tiebreaker with Harris. But we're not getting this majority. We're still going to have to operate with some of these same players that, you know, the Lindsey Graham and the Mitch McConnell and the people that have been literally stockading, blocking everything that anybody's tried to do. This is not, we can't keep doing this, right? So they're giving Biden the win, but in many ways, his hands are tied behind his back, right? Which is that card with the card with the wooden chair. You know, don't get comfortable. You're sitting on a wooden chair. You're not sitting on anything. You're not sitting on anything plush. This isn't a recliner. You're not going to get comfortable there. You're going to be uncomfortable. You know, you're going to be leading us, but it's going to be hard. So I don't know if any of this makes any sense. I'm going to have to watch it to make sure it does. But That's the thing. I want everybody to know that, because here's the thing. We weren't handed everything we need to fix this, and potentially we can't. Potentially we have to hit bottom, right? Potentially we all have to go down the tubes with these people because we can't get them to wake up. They've been brainwashed, and we all may have to go down to the bottom with them to get this to change. Or Biden gets in, and the few extra seats we picked up in the House actually is enough of a toehold, enough of a little bit of a, just a little bit of a, to get us there, to make it so that we can take another step and then another step. Very carefully, very slowly. And hope that the pandemic, such as it is at this point, and hope that as we go forward and Biden proves to these people that mask work and shutting down for short periods of time work, hopefully that will wake up some of these people. Hopefully it'll wake them up and snap them out. As I'm talking to you today, England is going into a shutdown that will last until Christmas. They're hoping to be out of the lockdown before Christmas. That's somebody taking control. I mean, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. I don't want it. They don't want it. But we have to try to save lives. And it means doing hard things. And it means doing hard things that put you out for someone else. And that's our lesson here, folks. That is the lesson. The whole lesson is compassion for other people. So I hope this has made sense to you. I hope that you're okay. I want you to do a lot of self-care, get outside, try not to dwell too much on the news, because as you saw last night, it's going to flip back and forth, and it's going to make you crazy. It's just literally going to drive you crazy. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. This is a bigger thing. It's about a bigger lesson. It really is. And maybe when you can see it in that bigger way, you can take the long view, which is kind of like also this card that, take the long view. You know what I mean? That's way out there is where we got to go. We're not there. We're not going to get there. This is a marathon. This is a marathon. This is not a short race. 4 years for us to do some really hard things, make some hard choices. Not always going to make everybody happy. Biden is not going to make everybody happy. He's going to make the Democrats mad. He's going to make the liberal Democrats mad. He's going to make, the Republicans mad. It's going to be a thankless job. But we have to just look at it as a longer trip, a longer, journey. So I hope you guys are well. Please take care of yourselves. There's still very much a threat of violence. I talked about that in a different video. There's still very much a threat of violence. You see how they're intimidating. I also predicted that. They're intimidating people. If Biden wins, they are going to spend months intimidating people. And please don't participate. Don't participate. If Biden loses, don't participate. Don't go out there, and I don't want you to get hurt. That's the thing. I just don't want you to get hurt. Please be careful. Please be careful. You guys take care, and hopefully I'll come back with better news.